And our speaker is Dr. Eytan Cohen Yanarocak. He is an expert on contemporary Turkish politics and foreign policy, Turkish-Israeli relations, and the Kurds. He's co-editor of Turkey Scope, published by the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle Eastern and African Studies at Tel Aviv University. Hi, Eytan, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Well, first of all, I would like to mention that the timing of this standoff is really crucial for Turkey, and it is preferable because let me remind you, only last year Turkey was heading the NATO's very high readiness joint task force, meaning that in this kind of a scenario, if this today's scenario was taking place last year, Turkey had to be responsible for spearheading this whole NATO initiative against Russia. Therefore, from Turkey's perspective, the decision makers in Ankara can now have a deeper breath. But still, since Russia is considered as the historical nemesis of Turkey, or in other words, of the Ottoman Empire, Turkey still feels itself between the hammer and the anvil. And the most important issue here is, of course, Turkish national security in the Black Sea. Today, Turkey desires a strong Ukraine in the Black Sea in order to diminish the Russian naval influence. But in case of an invasion of Ukraine, so Turkey will be threatened in the very near future by a more serious Russian threat. And besides that, Turkey, nowadays we all know that Turkey's membership in NATO is questioned by the allies itself. Let us not forget that Turkey is also sitting on the straits of Dardanelles and Straits of Istanbul, which means that in case of a full-scale war between Russia and NATO, Turkey's allies would like to use these straits in order to send their navies to the Black Sea. And this will create a huge problem, because then Turkey should basically decide whether it is a Black Sea coastal state and as a good partner of Russia, or is it an ally of the West. We all know that the belligerent states can send ships through the straits if they are on the side of the Turkish government. But otherwise, if Turks will remain neutral, then Turkey has to basically close the straits to the non-Black Sea countries, which will be a huge challenge for Turkey. Besides that, for Turkey, there is another important concern. Turkey would like to see the maintenance of the territorial integrity of Ukraine, not because of the fact that the Turkish decision makers became Ukrainian nationalists. It is because this will create a precedent, and not only in Ukraine, but it will also create a precedent in Nagorno-Karabakh, because at the end of the day, the Russian justification for annexing the Ukrainian territories is based on the civilian population, meaning that such a precedent in the Turkish eyes will pave the way for the Armenian annexation of some of the parts of Nagorno-Karabakh. Moreover, it will create another important precedent also for the Kurds in Syria. So in Turkish eyes, Turks would not like to see a change in the status quo. And if we are speaking about minorities, of course, from the Turkish point of view, I also would like to mention about the Tatars. The Tatars were considered as the continuation of once upon a time let's say, an ex-Ottoman community. And during the 18th century, this particular community, the Tatars, had their own state in Crimea. And it was 1783 when the Russians annexed Crimea. And during the Second World War days, these people approximately constituted the half of the population of Crimea. Only because of Joseph Stalin, They were sent to exile, and today their population stands approximately like 11%. So Turkey would like to preserve their status. This is also very crucial for Turkey. Besides that, Turkey is giving another important. Turkey is collaborating with Russia and in Ukraine in the defense sectors. We all know that Russia is building the Turkish nuclear power plant. Russia sold to Turkey S-400 anti-ballistic systems, and besides that, Russia is also considered as Turkey's partner in the field of energy. We have two important pipelines, the Blue Stream and the Turk Stream, which basically strengthens the interdependency between the two countries. So at one hand, we have this strong Russian-Turkish partnership, but on the other hand, we also see that the Turks are also engaging with the Ukrainian defense industry sector. And recently, Mr. Erdogan paid a visit to Kiev, and there he signed another important agreement with his Ukrainian counterpart, with Zelensky. Both of the countries signed a free trade agreement, and they would like to boost their partnership, especially on the defense industry. We all know that in 2019, Turkey already dispatched 6 UAVs, 6 Bayraktar UAVs to Ukraine, and these were operational. And according to the military sources, these were all used in the Donbass region. And besides that, recently the Ukrainian firm called Motor Sich, they declared that they are going to provide to Turkish Baykar firm, which the same particular firm is producing the Bayraktar UAVs, the necessary engines. This is crucial because we are also seeing that because of the equipment of the S-400 anti-ballistic systems from Russia, we all witnessed that the American administration imposed Kaatsa sanctions against Turkey. So Turkey began to look for an important military technological supplier in order to fill this vacuum. And of course, with its technology, the Ukrainians are providing they are playing a very important role here. Besides that, the two countries also agreed that Turkey will inaugurate a new factory for producing the Bayraktar UAVs on the Ukrainian soil. This is again very important. And as far as I understand, the two countries will proceed by conducting technological transfer and mutual production. Okay, and besides that, nowadays we are seeing that Mr. Erdogan is very much eager to be the mediator between the two leaders. I would like to emphasize here that if Erdogan, let us enter to the shoes of Mr. Erdogan. How would you persuade Mr. Putin? Because Putin's hand is stronger than Zelensky, right? So from my perspective, now I am thinking out loud, and I'm trying to be as creative as I can. If I was Mr. Erdogan, I was looking at the bigger picture, and I could basically see the most important friction points between Turkey and Russia. So what are these friction points? It is Libya, it is Syria's Idlib, it is Nagorno-Karabakh, and of course it is the Black Sea. So in order to strengthen the bargaining power of Mr. Zelensky, maybe Mr. Erdogan would offer something in return to Mr. Putin, and then Mr. Erdogan would deduct the price of this nice gesture by having more and more support from the Ukrainian military industry. So this is how I thought out loud. We will see if Mr. Putin will answer to the calls of Mr. Erdogan, but we'll see if Turkey will be able to put an end to this tension, because from Turkey's perspective, this is really jeopardizing its own interests. Turkey doesn't want to find itself between Russia and the West, and basically it doesn't want to prove to all sides that it is a partner and it is an ally of these states. So we'll see what will happen. Thank you very much for having me. If you have any questions, of course, I will be glad to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eitan.